Today I get a chance to interview Autumn Brown Yarbrough. Firstly, the name alone sounds like someone exquisite, someone that I really want to talk to. But she is the founder of New Standard, a cutting edge three-phase solution to helping the busy woman on the go to prevent hair loss or to have restoration from hair loss. And hair loss is from unmanaged stress. She started and launched Hydra Silk just recently, January 2023. So she's almost there for her first birthday and celebration. But you can find her products in Cosmo professional stores nationwide and other distributors. So if you're in the beauty industry, particularly if you're an owner of a hair salon or you have a hair shop, or even if you want to use the products that she's producing yourself, you can find them everywhere. And at the end of this, she's going to tell you how to connect with her so you can learn more about what she is doing, something that is needed. And I love the fact that she's a business owner, and this is one of the reasons why we have invited her to be a part of Andrew You're Strong, the Unstoppable Female. It's happening December the 14th to the 16th in Atlanta, Georgia. And you're going to meet this amazing woman who has this groundbreaking three-phase solution to combat hair loss. And those of you that have lost your edges or you want to keep your edges, you need to connect with what she is doing, number one, and then connect with us. Stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm hoping that everyone called their grandmother, their mother, their sister, their auntie, their niece, and sit them in front of whatever device you are viewing this on, because we're getting ready to talk to an amazing, groundbreaking Imagineer. She created New Standard and Hydra Silk Hydrating Bond System, and she has the courage, the audacity to enter the hair care industry. Congratulations, Autumn.
You're
Tell us about
awesome.
your journey.
Dr. Dr. Trim, you are awesome. You were right. I couldn't stop smiling. And the energy and the excitement to be a part of the industry is huge.
Mhm.
Being actually third generation in the industry is a blessing. I thank God every day for the opportunity. And the journey is always an interesting one, being Black and female and trying to scream loud enough in this space and then focusing on a part that we all need so importantly for the Black community, textured hair community, and the busy woman on the go, and that's more innovative products. And making sure we're included in innovation at the inception of R&D. That's a big miss that we have, and that is what new standard is. Setting those new standards in the industry, not just for people that look like you and I, but for everyone, and creating that sense of belonging.
Wow, wow, wow. So you had this journey. I mean, it's intergenerational. It's an intergenerational journey. But what inspired you to create these two new products?
Well, inspired is when you have an incredible pain point, pain constantly. Uh, the industry has done an excellent job of providing products to help aid or mitigate the pain, but to really solve the pain that we have, and the key one, hair loss. But then after you overcome hair loss, what comes next? Dryness, breakage, wanting your hair to feel healthy. And the pain kept on going. Even though you overcome one hurdle, it just seemed it wouldn't stop. And I was tired of the pain. And I wanted to address this pain when I understood it actually started from everything from the inside out. And
Mhm.
that's what started the journey. Even growing up in the industry, we have yet to really resolve these type of pain points. And then if there is some solution, someone that looks like you and I, we have to buy 5 more products for it to work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
Yeah.
part, that's another level of pain. A
Mhm.
pain where you're last in line or left out.
Mhm.
So I wanted to make sure we eliminate that pain. When I realized the pain I was having, it was a pain that most women were having. I was like, we got to do something about this. And that is when I had the confidence to do a restart legacy business. Because what my grandfather, Comer Cottrell, who started Proline back in the 1970s, what
Wow.
he did was remarkable in providing access to products that we could not afford or ever dream of. And it was so important during that time we had the opportunity to express your fro, your curl, or your relaxed hair. And then my mother, she did it her way with my father, being the creators of Just For Me, and making sure that young
Wait,
girls,
hold on. Did we
I know
all hear that? Listen to our heritage. All of us had used just for me.
I know.
Just for me, just for us, just for we. We
Yeah.
use that. Keep going.
Just For Me is my mom looked at my sister and I, and she said, my baby needs something for her. And Black girls need something for themselves to feel beautiful, and they have something for their own. So the power of creating an emotional connection that was being missed in our community was just groundbreaking. And that's why Just For Me became the success, because my mom saw a pain point that she was seeing, even in me and my sister as we were growing up. So I championed seeing those things, seeing innovation, learning those things, and then me having my opportunity to do something that came across with hair loss. It did start with hair loss. It started with hair loss and mental health and stress. And I was doing very well in the financial world, but you know, we all know, money doesn't make you happy. It can sometimes create other problems that you didn't even know that existed. And the worst problem that you have beyond everything else is when you start losing your hair. Because as I say, good hair is hair that's there. And it's so true. I've had the chance to meet people that have lost their hair, whether it's through stress, cancer, alopecia, all of the crazy words, telogen effluvium, all the different things that you can lose your hair beyond, the most common hair losses. And to understand that they're still wanting some solutions, making sure we're a part of innovation, solving these problems are key in a drug-free approach. So we launched our vitamins actually online as our first headway, which was our great success, and love our vitamins. And we're coming out with a whole new regeneration of them in the coming months. But once I realized that we were able to solve the hair loss challenge and having less of it happening, less of the shedding, and seeing that beautiful cuticle come out of the follicle, we had another problem, keeping the hair healthy on the head. And that is doing treatment products. Hydrosilk is a bonding product. There are several bonding products out there, but the pain point came when I tried those bonding products and they weren't including me. They were not including textured hair, were including highly porous hair, structured hair that I have, that you have, people in the textured hair community and the Black community at the end of the day. And so that is where Hydrosilk was born. But what I wanted to make sure of is that because there's such a need and a belonging for the Black community and the textured hair community to be in beauty, I wanted to make sure we were still inclusive with everybody else. I wanted to
Mhm.
make sure the pain I was having, I did not redo. And I have this belief that hair is hair. And again, good hair is hair that's there. And that I can set the tone and others can join, that we can be Black owned in the hair care industry, made for all. That is the biggest focus that I'm doing.
That is the difference. That's the game changer right there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. It is my passion and my purpose. As I realize what the initial pain was, and when you start to dig in deeper in providing these solutions, you start to see the underlying problem. And it goes back to what I said at the beginning, the lack of innovation, well, R&D and innovation for the Black community and the textured hair community. But understanding with science, technology, creativity, all the things that we champion, and how we can make this happen. We've done it remarkably in skincare. We've done it remarkably in medications and everything else. It's just making sure that we speak loud in the industry and we break this next glass ceiling that you can be Black owned, made for all, be supported with the top in the industry. And because of my family's networks and my grandfather leaving this earth now in heaven with integrity, he did an
Wow. Wow.
integrity where it's
When you
given me
think
the
about your when you think about your product, what
yeah,
makes it unique? Because you have all of these products out there that promises to do
yes.
this, then the other. But what makes your product unique, and why was it important for you to create it?
Again, what makes it unique is the emotional connection of understanding the pain. A lot of times
Mm,
products are made to make, it's not the purpose, it's the profit. We have a
mm,
pain
mm,
is dryness. A lot of times, once your hair is on your head and you're celebrating it, the next thing is you want to combat the dryness. And it's in everybody that looks every different color, texture, it doesn't matter. Dryness is a huge issue. And I wanted to make sure we had performance. I wanted to make sure it performed, performed, performed. I wanted to
mhm.
make sure the professional was involved. I have yet to meet anybody that had a hair challenge that was able to overcome it by themselves. I respect the license. I respect the professional. I also believe in the professional community because it fuels our economic system, and especially in the Black community as well. So I love that about us. Uh,
Yeah.
but it was making sure it performed and did the number one thing, hydration in minimal steps. I did not want to create a pain for the professional, let alone I wanted to drive in the busy woman on the go's dream. She takes time to get the treatment. She will notice a diminishing use of other products. It's no different when you take care of your skin. You're noticing you don't need as much makeup on.
Mm.
And news alert, I don't have any on right now because I try to do that too, you know.
Ooh, guess what? I'm wearing mine though.
And it's the same thing,
It took me 17 years to learn how to put on eyelashes.
girl. I let
I
those go.
finally got them, and listen, I throw it on now.
You do you're absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And,
Thank you.
and
And so are you, Autumn.
thank you. And my whole thing is the wellness, and we champion hair wellness is our term. We don't focus on the styling. We champion styling, but we want to make the busy woman on the go her styling methods taken care of smoother. So to that three-part system, nourish, so taking care of the body inside out,
Mhm.
treat, treating the hair strand inside out, so you're less dependent on products.
Mm,
So when you leave your stylist's chair, you're not having to pack on so many products. Your
mhm,
life of shampooing and conditioning is simple. You do one shampoo, one 5 minute conditioner, if that, and you move on. You use your favorite gel or you use your favorite cream, and that's it. That's every woman's dream. I
one
mean,
and done.
great hair, they say they have these challenges. But definitely in the textured hair market, we're tired of 5, 6, 7, 8 products to get it going. And a lot of times we have a gorgeous crown, but we don't have the time to show it off because of the challenges, because nobody's really digging deep into that number one pain point, and that is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and doing it in a minimal effort because
Foundation is you're
you
talking
got
about
it.
something that is very foundational.
Yeah.
It's one thing, if you're not healthy on the inside, it's
Mhm.
going to show up in your skin, it's going to show up in your hair, and then you add stress. We live in an environment that's very stressful. And now, they have epigenetics, and they're saying that a lot of what we're experiencing is as a result of our external environment. And it is giving rise to the stresses that is creating all kinds of diseases internally. And if we could support what God has given us by supplementing, and I love the word supplement, That means that you've got these healthy habits and you're supplementing the healthy habits. But if you take a supplement with dead food, that equals death. You're supplementing death. So it's that healthy routine, which I love because you're talking about mental health as well. You're not just talking about, okay, hair health. You're talking about mental health, emotional health, nutritional health. And so you're not just in the beauty industry, you're in the health industry.
Yes.
That is revolutionary. And we talk about divergent thinking, but this is creative thinking. This is thinking big. This is going beyond the limitations of an industry. And you're saying now we have to look at the total person in treating just one aspect of their life, whether it's the mental health or physical health. And for us, we're talking about hair health. But you're a businesswoman. You're an inventor. You're a creator. You're a legacy runner. And I'm sure, you'll be handing the legacy to the next generation. And this is one of the reasons why we invited you to Enter Your Strong, because a lot of times we see people on stage, but we don't hear their backstory. And we brought some incredible people that are doing their faith. They're not just telling their faith, they're living their faith. Faith without works is dead. You're young, you're beautiful, you're anointed. Plus, we have something in common. We both like jazz music.
Yes.
But just a little bit about you. What was it like growing up?
Um, I miss it. Like, I mean, I will be very honest. It was a blessing to grow up in the hallways of Proline, running down the hallways, organizing advertising magazines, having fun in the test salon, getting my hair done, also being on the line and working, helping them out, do the kitting in the boxes, helping out with the shipments, staying there, clocking in and clocking out, having value of what hard work is, from
Hmm.
hands-on work to even when you're in the office doing books and looking at accounting. I worked in the credit department with my cousin. I mean, it was fun to see how enjoyable it was to work with people that love working for a man that believed in them. He at that time did, ESOP, which was, so unique, where everybody that worked with him got shares in the business. So
Hmm.
when this was sold, everybody got to enjoy a part of that profit. So it was a blessing, a delight. It was an experience that I'm very, very blessed to have. And that's why when it's important, and I tell this to even young people, when your parents are doing well and they expose you, your job is to take that and do
Yes.
more, and not just sit there and just think about things that are not going to contribute, but do more and have a purpose when you do it. Passion is good, but passion married with purpose, everything else works out.
That's where all the sparkle happens, right?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Autumn, Resurgence. And you're a part of the Unstoppable Female Panel. What can people expect?
They can expect for me to be there to tell them you need to be unstoppable. It is a need, and we need everybody in that audience to continue those unstoppable movements. For us
Hmm.
to talk about what does an unstoppable movement look like,
Hmm.
and how to always champion, even when you think something is stopping you, it's
Hmm.
not. God is there to help guide you and show unique ways and use you as an example to overcome those, so others can have the courage and to be inspired by you, but then to create inspirations for others. Because it's all about connecting, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that is what they can expect. And then I can't wait to sit there with you and everyone else, to learn from them and to
yeah.
continue the beautiful love that we all have for each other.
Yeah. Those of you that are women, you are in ministry, you are in business, you're a serial entrepreneur. My mother was a serial entrepreneur and business owner. Her parents were business owner. I'm a business owner. Both you and I are carrying on a legacy. And we get to give forward. We get to pay it forward, and not just to inspire, but equip others through our conversations, through our story. All of us have a backstory. What was your defining moment where the light bulbs went off and you said, this is what I'm going to do? What was that defining moment?
You know, the defining moment is when you think you have arrived on the financial success part.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're doing what you're doing, you have what you want, you get to see the world, you can do everything. And I had my own business. So then also I was like, I'm an entrepreneur. I have a top agency. I'm doing very well. And yet you're not satisfied. You don't feel you're really living your life's purpose. And my moment came that I just didn't feel I was leaving my mark on this beautiful earth and planet that we have. And I felt that God has sent me down here to do more. And
Mm-hmm.
I was scared, I will be honest, because I basically said, I'm going to bury everything I worked so hard for to live my life with purpose. I
Mm-hmm.
felt several pain, the pain of the beauty industry and hair and where I grew up never left me. I thought it was gone when my grandfather sold the business, but knowing that it was just always there. And then to really say, you know what? I'm going to do this. And I had a breakdown moment because of the mental health challenges. Mental
Mm-hmm.
health is real. And when I realized hair is just a reflection of your health, I was,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm on to something. And then when I realized this was an issue that several of us go through, that's when I said, I'm doing it. And I've been fortunate to have an incredible husband that supported this because we had to make a lot of changes. And I have a beautiful family. My children are amazing because they see mommy working hard and they support it as well. So it's been a blessing from God and they understand the purpose.
Wow, wow, wow. A day in Autumn Yarbrough's life. Your wife, your mother, your business owner, you're a creator, you're an inventor, you're a chemist, and a day in Autumn Yarbrough's. Take us through your day, starting from the moment you open your eyes.
Oh, well, a
I,
real day.
I can hear it already.
I'm like, a real day is like waking up at 4 a.m., having to catch a flight to go do boots on the ground. So this is a boots on the ground business. This is not social media. Technology is great, but it's not going to move the needle because when you're in an industry where it requires deep connection, face-to-face interaction, people
Mhm,
know your
mhm,
product, knowing how to speak of your product, providing the education, you got
mhm,
to be willing to travel, get in the car, hop on a plane, get in the most uncomfortable hours, 4 a.m., hop on a flight, take another flight, rent a car, drive down. There's no Uber. There's none of that. You know, there's no multiple overnight hotel. It's like moving and traveling and trying to hit as many locations so people are aware so you can pull that product off the shelf. I tell people when you are in retail or you're on the shelf, that's when the real work starts because the retailer is expecting that product to be pulled off and they're expecting for you to do it.
mhm. You know what it's like? It's like writing a book.
It is.
People really get excited. Okay, I authored a book. That's the easy part. It's moving it. You got
You
to move it off
know.
the shelf. So,
Yeah.
because if you don't move it off of that shelf, then the next time you write a book, they're not going to buy your book.
Right.
And the window is very small. Most people who want to be authors don't understand that you get, I think it's 10 days, 10 days to 14 days. That's 2 weeks for them to see movement. Because every day about 12,000 books are flooding the market every day.
I believe it.
So, the same thing with products.
It's the same.
So you need boots on the ground. You need to be the face of the brand. Separate your emotions from your brand and
Yes.
push that brand. You have to be your own PR. If you don't market it, it ain't gonna move.
And you already, that's
So,
exactly.
and no matter how many people you hire, you better be your number one sales force.
Yes.
You got,
I love that. That is,
you got to be your sales force, your marketing, your PR, your advertisement agent. You got to be the employee, the janitor. You got to be everything.
yep,
It's not as glamorous as people make it seem.
not at all. That's
Yeah.
why you have to have a purpose.
Hmm.
I even, people are like, you're so passionate. I said, that fizzles every now and then.
Hmm.
But it's the purpose that refuels the passion.
Hmm.
When I hear stories and when I see, or when I go to these classes and when I meet people that have hair loss or severely damaged hair, and you see it break their soul. It is hair is a huge part to a woman's identity. It's
It
a
is.
beauty. And, to know that you have the heart, to know that you can care. And then the part that warms me the most is those that don't look like me and have
Mhm.
trusted me. And
Mhm.
I've been able to solve their problems. And then they spread the word.
Mm.
And breaking that next ceiling and being Black owned, made for all. Because that's where we're at. There's
Mm.
actually products on the shelf that it's more of a pain point challenge. It's
Mm.
not a reflection of what you look like. And then we all know, Dr. Trim, 65% of the world has textured hair,
Yeah, 65%.
over 65. So
Yeah. I look at my family and we got every kind of texture here you can think of. And when I think their hair is the most beautiful, and you'll attest to this, they're always talking about, oh, my hair is puffy, you know, that puffy state. But when you can create a product for textured hair, period, you're reaching everybody.
correct. And making sure that when you see me, you listen to what problems I can solve and do not assume. I've had people hair textured and they look at me, but they assume because I look different from them. I'm a Black female. I can't solve their problem.
Yeah.
I even doing on vitamins. I've had that. So the goal is to make sure they know I care about everyone and that this
So
is a
your articulation then is an articulation of overcoming odds,
yes,
pushing through those barriers,
yes,
and helping people to see you
yes,
beyond your product
yes,
and see the product beyond you.
correct.
So, question: what has your greatest challenge been as a woman of color in the hair industry? Maybe you know what? That's gonna be my cliffhanger. I'm gonna ask that question and I want you to unpack it because there are many, 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 many different layers. You know, I'm an alpha female in a man's world. So I came out of politics, I came out of finance and banking, and now I'm in a faith-based space. And the number one question that every woman asks me inevitably, how do you do it? And it's been easy. I just bring my A game, authenticity. If a door is not open for me, I consider myself a carpenter. I build doors that I hold open for others. If I'm not invited around a table, I'm still a carpenter. I build tables and then I invite others around that table. So sometimes, I think of the whole idea of adversity introduces a man or a woman to themselves. And that's their authentic self. Growing up in poverty, it's my beginning days was full of adversity, full of it. But at 8 years old, I started my first business. So that adversity introduced that poor little girl to the businesswoman. And I can go on and on, with the kinds of mental calisthenics that you have to go through in your own mind. And from out of that, I wrote a best-selling book, which is Commanding Your Morning and the Rules of Engagement, which are both evergreens. And most books have maybe an 18 month, and ours has been, God knows, all of 15 years and is still selling every year. But adversity introduces a man or woman to themselves. and that is their authentic self, not the worst part of you, the next best version of yourself. That's what happens in the midst of adversity. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Favorite music of all time.
So What by Miles Davis.
Wow, I'm writing it down because I wrote down another book.
And
What
I will
about your
tell you,
movie?
huh?
What about your favorite movie?
Ooh, that's a tough one, Dr. Trim. Uh, I don't have, there's so many good movies. I mean, when I grew up, it's a Brazilian film, Black Orfeo, Black Orpheus. Just had, that was one of the first films I saw where I felt there was a true appreciation of Black beauty, seeing handsome Black men and gorgeous Black women play a love.
Mm,
And it was a way to see myself reflected in as a, seeing myself in love and beauty and Black beauty. And that exposure, I actually became obsessed with that film and like watched it over and over because it was
what is
exciting.
it? Black Orpheus?
It's Black Orpheus. It's a Brazilian film.
Oh,
And yeah, it's an independent film. I saw it in college, but it was instrumental because I was in Los Angeles, went to
mm,
USC, and you kind of get clouded as you're in those years of beauty and you want guys to like you and you're supposed to find your husband, and that did not happen. I did not meet my husband in college. And but you're constantly second guessing, being a Black female, are you beautiful? I was
mm,
in an environment where you're excited about Black men, but they may not look ultimately a Black woman is beautiful. So that film reinvigorated me. And I was like, I'm the finest thing, And it was just helpful seeing the reflection, the representation. Representation is so important in beauty. And there's not enough of it still.
mm,
That's kind of interesting. Some people think they've hit the mark.
mm.
Corporate America is like, oh, we've done our job. We're good. Not at all. You're just getting started. And I'm going to make sure we push it to the limits because there's no limits really.
Wow, wow. Let me ask you three questions to help, those that are viewing understand who this amazing tour de force is. Um, so if you were stranded on an island and you can choose one biblical character to be stranded with just for 2 days, who would that person be?
Gideon. I actually wrote about Gideon
Tell me
and
why.
the weakest, the unexpected, dismissed, um, you
Mm.
know, fought and God took care of Gideon. And the faith and the belief is one of my favorite stories. It was the part of the Bible that I related to the most. Um, it was
Wow.
I know, and it's a story that people don't ever talk about. I'm one of the unique ones already, even I picked the things that people most don't pick, but it
Mm,
was just a champion story, and that, you can be disabled, you can have all odds against you, you could be the smallest, the shortest, the littlest, but there is something for you. And matter of fact, even how my team is built, we all have, it's quite interesting the stories we have. I actually have a young gentleman I just brought on to our team who was abused by a family member. He was beaten up at a very young age where he was put in a coma and came out and now stutters. Yet he's been denied. He's in the beauty world, but he's been denied because of his stuttering. He wants to be an educator,
oh.
talented, but because his disability of stuttering, he is still not. And I tell him that story and I tell him how important he is. And then I had brought him in and embraced because his work is phenomenal with hair. It's phenomenal. And he is not what some people would expect that would be willing to be on our team because of the systemic issues in the hair care industry, where it's typically, if it's a Black owned brand, the people that support are just the reflection of that. He is a white male that believes in the brand, believes in what I'm doing, and wants to be a part of that disruption. And
Please bring him with you. I need him.
even him and all the challenges, and he is learning through this whole process, because I even had to recently tell him, because he's so talented, he's worked for top brands, but they won't allow him to move up because he feels it's his stuttering. I said, I don't care about that, because when people get to know you and you show your authentic self, you don't even listen to it.
Tell him Moses stuttered.
I will make sure he knows that, and he knows.
Listen.
He embraces it. And so, and that's the part where I even felt more excited, because when he embraced it and he's like, I'm tired, I embrace it, are you okay with it? I was like, I love it. I love who
That's
you
so
are.
good.
I said, I was attracted to your work, I don't care about that.
That is so good.
So we try to live by that example, even with our team.
That's so beautiful. If you had a superpower, and I probably almost know what you're going to say. If you had a superpower, what would that superpower be?
To go back in time. I don't know if that was the one. And most people
And
respond.
what would you do?
I would, I had a question asked the other day, and I was like, I didn't know how to respond, and it bothered me, because I was like, oh, if I had more time. But now I was like, this is what I would do. I would have went back to myself early on when my grandfather sold Proline, and
Mm,
told myself not to be sad. You have more in store than you even know.
wow.
Do and take back that moment, because it did bring me down to a lost path, because that's all I knew. And then even at school, when we did presentations, I always talked about the company and a new brand, and I was in the business school, so I would create new brands. Even when we did mock, presentations in our marketing classes, I loved everything Proline stood for. And there are times where the company matures, and you have to respect the maturity. And now, what I know now, I wish I had the opportunity to go back in time to tell my young self that.
Mm.
I think that would have been great. And of course, there's moments that you wish you could save people. So there's always those. But because I love people, I love life. No matter how hard life is, it always gets better and it's beautiful. Pain is temporary.
Hmm.
Living is a gift.
Come on.
Yes.
Wow. That sounds like a book. Pain is temporary. If
Yep.
you had to write a bestseller book, now that I'm there,
Oh, no, you're
uh,
kidding.
what amazing title would you call it? And
Ooh.
what would you write about? Let's start with this. I'm going to help you out. Would it be fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Excellent.
Nonfiction. And I'm trying to decide if it should be she can or you can.
Mm,
And the book would be about providing realistic, honest viewpoints of how entrepreneurship really works.
mm,
And, when you have a scarcity of items, you tend to be more creative, as you learn with adversity and at such a young age. I believe scarcity is very important in entrepreneurship. When you go right off the back and you just have funding and money, it's harder to think. You
mm,
make a lot more mistakes and you run out of money. Damon John, we all know from Shark Tank, one of my favorite books that he wrote was The Power of Being Broke,
mm,
and showed the comparison of those that had money versus those that didn't, even if they had the skill set, how much more successful businesses are.
mhm. And I'm taking notes. That's the book, The
Yeah,
Power.
being,
Okay.
or The Power of Broke. And what people think right off the back, that you have to have all this crazy level of resources at the very beginning in order for success. And the reason why they're not successful, or what their excuse is because they didn't have capital or they didn't have resources. That is actually the opposite. If you look at even all the incredible greats, they all had some level of scarcity at a certain point in time. And so that is what I would definitely focus in explaining those, especially in the Black community, knowing that, yes, odds have been against us, but
Mhm,
that's what makes us strive,
mhm,
and that's what makes us stronger. And
Mhm.
then also knowing to utilize the most important support are your family and your friends.
Mhm.
And it's not about financial capital, it's about emotional capital, because that's what you're going to need next. The
Mhm.
emotional capital that
Mhm.
they can provide you and give you in listening, those things. I would write the book on things that you already have and you're equipped with. And then when you get to those next levels, understanding the power of relationship capital, because then that's when the real capital comes in.
Mhm.
Working hard, and that just because you work hard doesn't mean it happens right away. Timing is set for everybody differently, but we all know when you work harder, opportunities come. I'm a big fan of missing out for opportunity. So I call it MOFO instead of FOMO. You know, everybody's fear of missing out. I'm like, no, I'm missing out for opportunity. I mean,
Mhm.
opportunities. I did not go to the Renaissance tour. I didn't do all the things that everybody does. I don't really focus on that because I have a different purpose
Mhm. Mhm.
and it will shine
Mhm.
soon enough. But I have no limit, no time. I'm comfortable where everything is. I just continue to take each day, as you said, when you wake up in the morning, what does that day look like? It's a hard working day every day. And being my authentic self. The
Boots
part
on the ground.
on talking about being authentic,
Yeah.
that is the most important thing. But it does come out whether you like it or not when there's an adverse moment. And I can't
Mhm.
wait for that cliffhanger when we get on stage.
Well, listen, I could talk to you all day. This is my first time meeting you, and it's been spectacular. Thank you for saying yes. How can people connect with you?
They can connect through Instagram. We are available at New Standard, and that's NU, like necessary understanding,
Hmm.
standard hair. Or you can connect if you're a professional at Hydra Silk Pro, and that's Hydra with an A. And we
Hmm.
believe and respect the license. So all my stylists, we believe in what your value is into the beauty industry.
This is really great. Those of you hair loss, no edges, you want to keep what you've got or cause what you have to become thicker and more beautiful. This is your girl. And she's going to be with us at End Your Year Strong, December the 14th to the 16th. If you have not registered, register now and make sure you bring a friend. As usual, Autumn, you made my day an exciting day. We listened to music. We had a great conversation. You enriched my life. And I know everyone that was listening, their life will be enriched. And thank you for saying yes to being with us at
Awesome.
End Your Strong Resurgence. God bless everyone and make it a great day.